Hey everybody, just want to do a little test wrap up and kind of look forward into the rest of the semester if we possibly can. First thing, just want to express my extraordinary gratitude to all of you who hung with the class so far. I have 217 students total for all of my 5 classes. And I got to tell you, I was really like sweating thinking, holy smoke, how many students are actually going to take the test. And ultimately 192 of you took it, and I have promises of maybe a few more that are going to turn exams in. But I mean, it seems like it's a pretty good retention rate, and I just really want to express my gratitude that you're willing to hang in there, you're willing to do the work, you're willing to look at the videos, of course, and check out the class notes and all those things. So, really, I'm very thankful. It's really important to me that we finish this semester, and I'm able to get you guys through this. So, the more they hang with me, the more happy I'm going to be about that. And I just really do appreciate that. I did want to also do some special praises for individuals who just did really outstanding work in terms of their midterms. So for Monday, Wednesday, 8 o'clock, 102 class, Bella Howell and Taylor Walling, thank you so much for your efforts. Monday, Wednesday, 102, 1110 class, William Cracy, Lily Grebner, Joe Lewis, Stephen MacArthur, Josh Miller, Andrew Ryan, Joseph Sauer, Stephen Shedd, Jessica Velasquez. Thank you guys so much for just really doing a wonderful job as far as your exams are concerned. Tuesday, Thursday, 102, Megan Bellina, Porter Bradley, Cameron Goodman, Trevor Magnet, Katie Russell, Giddy Siddiqui, Sophia Wester. Again, just excellent work to say the least, and really, to me, you guys are the ones who made sure you've seen all the videos, gone through all the materials, and just really took the time and effort to make that all happen. Monday, Wednesday, 101 class, Aaron Bante, Taylor Bergeson, Madison Guard, Justin Gresham, thanks so much for your efforts. Tuesday, Thursday, 101, Rosa Alcantar, Seth Edwards, Alyssa Fitzgerald, Sophie Fountain, Greg Jorgensen, Brent Osterhout, McKenna Tanger, thank you all for your super work. And special recognition to Kathleen Wen and Ashley Dees Posti, who just did amazing. I mean, we're talking 20 pages typed in double space, comprehensive responses to the questions and the identifications. I can't tell you how much I appreciate the efforts you guys put into this, and really, the performances that I saw were far and above anything that would happen in a regular setting. And I knew it took a lot of time to put that together, and I do, and that, for everybody else, thanks too. And just for those of you guys could all get an A. I swear, you all have this access to the same materials. Essentially, you've got the videos, you've got the class notes that are available too. So that, to me, it's all a question of how much time you want to put into. But for those of you that maybe want to get a little better grade and aren't quite there, then a couple reminders I just want to say. This worked for a lot of students. You guys know that I'm kind of obsessed with historical context and historical significance. So really make sure that you try to include a lot of you did good detail, but you didn't do those two things that to me seem are kind of the critical things that I'm looking for. So try to include that. And if you don't know what those are, as we approach the final exam, then ask me what they are. Email me, get me to make sure that you understand the historical significance and the contexts for the individual identifications that are on the final exam. Anyway, so remember that if you have questions about anything, issues about anything, if anything's troubling you, it's no different. I'm still here to look at things again, to review them, to make sure things are okay. So, and don't feel bad. If you have some problems with the way that I graded your exam, just let me know, and I will do all my best to explain exactly what's going on, or if I made a mistake, to fix that. I am really liking the Canvas submission, the way that comes in for the exams. So I'm going to work to make sure that all assignments can be submitted via Canvas, because then it just comes up to me, it tells me that there's something for me to grade, and it gives me the opportunity, of course, to grade it, which sends a notification to you. So I'm trying to make sure, and do periodically check your grades to make sure that all of the things that you have turned in to me are accounted for as far as the grades are concerned. So just a couple little notes I want to make. Just a little glimpse looking forward. So all of the videos for the content for SG 101 and 102 are ready for you. For SG 101, you guys will be looking at the span of the Antebellum America videos, including the dynamic growth component. That's the largest component of what we have left. Then the North and South, or what I call the House Divided, or North and South as it appears in terms of Canvas. And then finally the sectional crisis with smaller little components on the Civil War and Reconstruction. And of course, so those are there for you, available for you. I'm not going to put the class notes out there right off the bat unless you really want them, but I hope you begin to go through those videos. For History 102, of course, we've got the 20s, the Great Depression, World War II, and the post-war period. So I've got 4 segments, and the 2 big ones will be indeed the 1920s and the Great Depression component. So those are there for you. You're welcome to proceed at your own pace. If any of you are in a position where you get done early and you want to finish things, then you just have to let me know. Assignments in, I can get you the final exam early. You could get that done. It's up to you. Otherwise, I'm just assuming we'll all be kind of on the same pace. And it does appear to me that people are just naturally procrastinators and waiting to the last moment and that's fine. But you have a lot of material between now, of course, and the final 4 weeks. Well, actually, 5 weeks if you count the whole situation. To get through this material, do the best you can to kind of get connected to it. The students that did the best on the exam were the ones who really seemed to have gone through all the materials in a strong way, and then that's what's going to allow you. And if you, every one of you, if you do this, you will do well in this class. There's no reason in the world you couldn't get an A in this class the way it's set up now. It's all there for you. It's just up to you to get your hands on every component, every part of it. All right. I do want to mention the history project, kind of really important major assignment left for us before we get to the final examination. Remember that there are 2 ways to do this. It can be done either as a paper, and the paper is just very basic and simple, minimum 3 pages, typed in double space, so minimum 3 pages, in the MLA style, so that's the style that's used by our English department, with a minimum of 3 bibliographic references. So that means that when you're doing research, you're looking for the information. And I'm sure that just in the nature of our moment here, most of that will be done online in one way or another. So, look to different sources. Look for the good ones, of course, and end with the EDU or ORG. PBS is really good with American history, so they could have interesting things on something you might be looking for. Just make sure you document that for me. You just have to tell me where you got your sources from. You don't necessarily have to use footnotes, but if you quote, you must note. That's like the rule of quote, you must note. So quote means that you've included the actual wording that comes from the document that you've researched, and therefore you have to tell me exactly where that came from, okay? And if it isn't on an online source, then it can be awkward to some degree, but just as good as you can, make sure that you're telling me where that source comes from. If you don't quote, you still have to have the bibliographical reference. So that means the list at the end of references that you have used that to find the resources that you're using. So, and I do want that that needs to be included, and I'm asking you to do 3. I have 3. You can do more if you want to. And by the way, your paper can be longer than 3 pages too. These are minimums, and so I'm hoping to adhere to those. And I do have to at least let you know that I become a little bit persnickety when it's less than 3 pages, because I don't think 3 pages is necessarily an onerous assignment for anybody. So the papers can be on any topic in American history in our period, in the period of your class. So for History 102, that would be everything from, I'm going to do History 101 first. History 101, that'd be everything from pre-Columbian Native Americans. So you could actually be telling me about, the first people who came over, walked into this, came into this area, these prehistoric people, to just prehistoric Native Americans or Paleo Native Americans, to Native American tribes, of course, ultimately, becoming, the story of the coming of the Europeans, but everything from the time of pre-Columbian Native Americans, from Columbus then up into the Civil War and Reconstruction period. Any person, any development, any significant event that occurs during this time, all of these are, of course, open game. If you have any trouble with any kind of thinking of topics in this area, then feel free to email me. I just put together a list of what I can think of at that moment, and I send it to you, and just to make it available to you, just to give you some ideas, and maybe that'll kind of tweak you one way or the other in terms of where you want to go. Remember, it could be family history stuff, if you got family history that dates back that time, or it can be fashion history, it could be what they ate at that time. All these things are, there's all the realm of topics is open to you. So History 101 up until about 1877. If you do something that goes beyond 1877, it has to really start before that, and it has to have the main body of the issue before 1877. And then for History 102, 1865 to really, let's say to 2000, okay? We don't go too much farther than that, and into our own contemporary period. So anything in that period, again, any person, any event, any development of that time. For History 102, of course, you have just, so many, especially 20th century topics that we, hopefully are heading towards, with the civil rights movement, the hippies, the 60s, of course, rock and roll, the rise of consumer culture, things that are happening in the 20s, just this endless number, a cavalcade of people and events, of course. And remember that obscure things are really fun too. I don't want to encourage anyone to do mass murders in modern America, but those are stories. Some students have written them. They really creep me out and scare me a little bit. But anything you can think of. And again, first you want to, any problems with topics, just drop me a line, send me an email, and I'll try to get back to some ideas that I'll have for you at that particular time. I'm going to set it up so this will be turned in through Canvas. And Canvas has a cool little mechanism where it checks to make sure that there isn't plagiarism. So do make sure that it's your own work. I will be endlessly sympathetic to your work, of course. I have to be endlessly unsympathetic to if you're taking the work, you're just cutting and pasting off of something you found on the web or something like that. That's really for the academic world. That's what we would consider to be kind of an academic crime. As long as it's your words, and there's the problem, of course, of okay, you do research, and then you find someone else is telling you something about this, and you have to do that. And one thing I think that's important to do is take some notes off of what it was that you read, and then spend some time away from it, and then come back to those thoughts, and then write, because then it has to be in your words, right? You can't remember exactly how they said it. So if you just distance yourself a little bit from, and by the way, if you think the way they said it was perfect, then do that. Put it in quotation marks, though, right? If you quote it, it's cool. If you don't quote it, then you're plagiarizing. So you really need to, make sure that you're distancing yourself to some degree from the source that you're using to try to get make the information yours, and of course put it on the page. And of course always use the references too. Okay, but so we do have the paper as a potential response to the history project assignment. The other one would be a presentation, and I'm making a presentation to you guys right now, so I think this is the way you could do it for me. And it kind of gives you the good news of it. You could do the presentation in the privacy of your own home without having to worry about an audience or something like that. And students have done PowerPoints, and you could do PowerPoints, and you could do a voiceover on the PowerPoint. Remember, the base parameter here is that it has to be, I want it to be between 5 and no more than 8 minutes. 8 minutes is your max, okay? If you go shorter than 5, that may not be an issue unless there's just really nothing to it, okay? But try to stick to that 5 to 8 minute kind of window there to make the presentation. If you do one of these, you can make a PowerPoint, and that can be presented to the class, to me, and of course ultimately to the class, or a video like I'm doing, or some other device, some other way that you could think to put that onto YouTube or something. Put it up there. Send me the URL, of course. I'll evaluate it, and then I can post it, and we can begin to see what our fellow students are doing as far as the class is concerned. So, and remember again, the range of potential topics. Students have sung songs from history. They've done reenactments from history. They've done dramatic presentations from history. They've done like show and tell of historical objects from the past or something related to their family. They've done dances. I mean, you could do a dancing thing if you wanted to. You could do a little mini lecture just on some topic that you find really interesting. Like I already said, the PowerPoint. All these things are things that you could do. Of course, it could be the presentation. And I don't know why, but I'm inspired to really want you to do presentations just so I could see you, I guess, see what you're doing and how you're doing and all that kind of stuff. So here's our project. It's coming up. It's 2 weeks from, oh boy, sorry I didn't do my dates for you guys very well, but it's 2 weeks from Monday. Oh, that's one. I will make sure on my announcement I will have the date for you guys, but not 2 weeks from Monday. It was 2 weeks from last Thursday. So 2 weeks from the day that you guys did your second midterm, got that all messed up, is when it's due. So this coming week, and then the end of the next week, and hopefully, I'm gonna just make it kind of generic for everybody. Try to get them on by Thursday. Instead of having to worry about the Wednesday or the Thursday division, just try to get them into Thursday if you possibly can. Okay. I will do a Zoom this week on Tuesday and Wednesday for for all my classes at their regularly scheduled class time, except for 8:30 as far as 8 o'clock class is concerned. I get my 40 minutes of Zoom there for you, just to answer any other questions you might have in terms of especially the history project. So I'll just put that on your calendar just in case you want to. And of course, you can always email me any questions or any issues you might have. Do remember that there is that small little handout associated with the history project that is on the one of the modules there, the assignment module that's on the opening page of our Canvas. All right. Anyway, hoping you guys are all well and safe, and I do again really appreciate you for hanging in on the class. We've got really 5 more weeks of this to go, or as long as you're going to take to do whatever it is you need to do for the class. I have to admit that when we get to that final exam, you know, whatever that Thursday is, it's May 22nd or something like that, I'm going to have to kind of shut the door on the class. Okay, so do make sure that if you have outstanding assignments or haven't done anything, that you will try to get that to me, you know, by May 22nd, which is our kind of closeout day as far as the class is concerned. Just wanted to mention that these cactus, I planted them when they were really little. This one was it's called a Montrose something. I don't even know what Montrose is, but it was like 1 foot tall, and now it's taller than me by double almost. And the other one was in my neighbor's yard, and I just took a little section this big and stuck that in the ground. Both of them have been there. You know, I think we've been in this house since '93. So, you know, anyway, enough about my cactus. But I just want to show you I have some cool cactus. Got some more cool cactus over there. If anyone wants to ever see a tour of the yard, just let me know, and I'll put one up quick. Anyway, stay well, stay sane, maintain as best you possibly can, and thanks again, you know, for hanging out for me, and we'll get through this. Okay. All right. Miss ya.